How to draw an egg realistically. I'm going to put the egg over here. As long as you're not holding the pencil too hard, you'll be able to modify it and erase it. And when you draw this shape, I also want you to look at the direction, the shape. I'm going to draw this a little bit like this, coming down. This is good, like this. Now let's take a look at where's the center line. Where's the inside the center? The egg is like reflected this direction. To see how's the angle look like, I'm going to draw a little bit more to capture the outline. It needs patience. Okay, that's good. And this, I think, is come down a little bit. Now I comparing, looking at it, is come down a little bit, like that. That's good. Now almost getting the shape correctly. Now look at it inch by inch. And we just learned the process of observational drawing. Now I can see the egg pretty well, like this. Okay, coming over here. Here we go. If you have the patience, you take the time for the observation, and you can capture anything, even include an animal or include drawing another person or draw yourself. Now I captured this pretty well. I'm going to move this a little bit higher so you can see a little bit better. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm looking at the catch the shadow and still looking at the big shape. I think start over here. Look a little oval shape like this. Here we go. And looking at where's this contact with the shape of the egg. It's contact over here. Where the light coming from? The light coming from this angle, right? And this is why the highlight is right about a quarter from the left side. It's right about here. Okay. And okay, after you have this big shape, the next thing what you would like to do, you want to look for the shadow area, the shadow side right here. I want you to think simpler. It's not thinking about the gradient. Just think about, oh, the light area and the shadow area. Okay, like this. Here we go. This is the light area. This is the shadow area. Now I'm going to do a little blending. Okay, the whole egg actually is not white. It's not a white egg. It's a brown egg. So I'm going to put a little line over here, like shade it simply. You can use graphite or charcoal pencil. It's very similar. And also going to shade it in here too. I'm going to shade this to be like all straight line filling in over here. Before you start the shading, I just show you. It's very important to find out the shape of the object. Okay, so you do that 1 inch at a time. I'm gonna do it one more time. So over here, coming up, I think coming a little bit more straight, a little bit higher, and now start a little bit. Now that's good. Look at it again, little by little, and stop when you're observing. Okay, that's good. And that's good. Now coming over. Take a look over here on this side. I think start over here, turning. Okay. That's good. Now I think it's more correct now. Look at it again. Okay, slowly. If you're going to draw a center line like this way, and you can see that the left side and the right side of the egg, it looks like a reflected. They can flip it over, right? It's pretty easy, right? Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm also going to shade it, the shadow area. I'm going to shade it like this and make it a little bit darker. You see, step by step, it makes everything easy. Okay. I'm going to shade this. I don't really need to see the variation inside the shape. I just make it flat. Okay, here we go. And I think this can be a little bit darker. Also inside over here, especially inside over here, is darker. But we're going to see the difference inside the shape. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a paper towel. Okay. Or anything, fabrics, or anything you want. I'm going to just shade it. I'm going to make it a little bit softer. Like that. Most of the time, I'm using my finger. It's easier. Oh, here you go. Now I'm going to make it a little bit softer. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to use my finger to make it even more smoother. There you go. Like that. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some cleanup. I'm using this nitty eraser. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get rid of those shades outside the shape of the object. I'm going to let it go. Okay, that's good. I think this side can be a little bit lighter too. I'm going to just put erase a little bit charcoal. I'm gonna over here you go. Now erase this. That's good. Erase that. Alright, I'm gonna make this a little bit softer by blend the value a little bit. Alright, this is pretty good. Now I'm gonna looking at, so this is called local color. The color of the object. How dark is it? So over here also need to be a little bit lighter. Like that. Here you go. A little bit lighter. Make it a little bit softer. Like that. That's good. Okay. Now I'm looking at the catch the shadow. It looks okay. Not bad. On the edge over here, I'll probably make it a little bit softer. A little bit lighter. Like that. So after you finish this step, we just filled into light side, shadow side, and cast shadow. Now I'm gonna looking at inside the shadow side. The shadow side over here, somewhere a little bit darker. You see that the top over here a little bit darker. Now I'm gonna slightly applying a little bit darker value. Okay, see that? But not over dark. Okay, just a little bit darker over here. Okay, that's here we go. Make a little bit darker like that. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna blend it in and softly that it connected. That's good. Beautiful, right? And now what next I'm gonna do, I'm looking at inside the catch the shadow area. In this area, also see a little bit darker. You see that because there's just no light get into that area. So I draw out the smaller shape inside this shape. First I'm going to fill in the shape over here, make it a little bit darker. Here we go. Like that. Follow the contour. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bit darker over here too. There you go. Like that. Now I'm going to make it a little bit softer. Blend it out like that. That's good. Right? You can see the value difference. Okay, that's a little bit darker too. Like connect that over. That's good. You can do this, right? It's pretty easy. And now I'm going to look at the shadow side. And the shadow side over here is already darker. That's just good. I think it's dark enough. But compare the value. This is not as dark as here. You can see it, right? You cannot make this as the same value. But I do want this a little bit softer, connected. Okay, a little bit connected. So put a little pencil over here. Now make it a little bit softer. Now there's a lot more variety inside the Catch the Shadow. Okay, now I'm going to come back to the inside the shadow area and can see a little reflected light. Why the reflected light? The light hitting the table over here and bounce back to the bottom over here. So I'm going to erase some. Here you go. Erase a little light. That's called reflected light. Okay, here we go. Like that. And how easy. Ooh, looks like very much there. Okay, all right. We're going to make it really there. How about that? We're going to looking at inside over here. Also some reflected light. Bounce the table over here. Bounce to the bottom over here. So we can see a little bit light over here too. We can erase something over here. Make it a little bit lighter. But not all the way here. So only in that area. Okay. That's all right. Make it a little bit lighter. All right, we just make that a little bit better. And we're going to use a little bit harder charcoal pencil. And the one I used, I want to take a look. This charcoal is extra soft, so it's a very, very dark. Okay, I'm using this one is hard. So it will be a little bit easier to control. Like over here, I'm gonna make this a little bit connected into here. That's good, like that. When you draw a little bit details, you want to use a harder charcoal pencil. Okay, now that's good. And also, I see that at the bottom over here, also see a little reflected light. Observational skill is very, very crucial, very important. If you want to draw something, make it look like the object you're looking at. You have to be able to see the light and dark value. Okay, that's good. Now take a look at the bottom over here. And this is light enough. But we want to make this side a little bit darker. I'm going to apply a little bit more charcoal over here. Make it coming down over here a little bit darker like that. Here we go. That's good. Now I'm going to look at over here, make it just a little bit sharper, a little bit higher. Okay, here we go. That's good. Okay. Now we're going to look at the light side. We're going to have the highlight. Okay. What's the highlight? The highlight is sitting right here, right? So I'm going to just erase some pencil mark. Now I'm going to make this pretty light. I'm going to put a little bit scratches like that. Now we get the highlight of the egg. Now we're going to come back over here to see the transition. Now I'm going to come back over here, the transition. I'm going to draw in between over here. Give a little bit slower transition. And it was a little bit too sharp. So I'm going to have a little bit connection. Now here we go. Now I'm going to see that if you have the patience, if you can look, and you'll be able to draw anything, make it look realistic. Now the drawing is finished. See that? Make that a little bit smoother. I can see the side over here. I'm going to see Okay, I'm gonna make this a little bit softer, connect it. So if you go really crazy, you want to make it look like 100% realistic. In that case, well, you can keep going. It just say, oh, I'm gonna smooth this and look at the edge over here. Oh, a little bit like this. I'm gonna smooth it a little bit more, but don't make everywhere so dark. Okay, it's very important. You have to see that. You have to compare the value of different places. Like, for example, we talk about here. Can it be as dark as over here in the catch the shadow? And the edge over here, I also make it a little bit lighter too, like this. Okay, any questions now? You're allowed to ask questions, you know that, right? And this is how you can draw an object. Look realistic. Look like a three-dimensional. So I want Jonathan to thinking about is what did I do not enough? I think you did not do enough for the make the shadow shape, right? You didn't make the shadow shape a little bit more darker. And also you can see that it's something even more changes inside over here. You have not go deep enough, right? But I'm sure you're capable to do that. You just spend a little bit more time into it and you can do that. So because here we're a little bit closer to the background. Can you see that? A little bit closer to that. So that's why it's a little bit lighter. You get more and more accurate with the value and it will look more realistic. Just spend a little bit more time to it. You guys capable. You guys are all smart people. You can make it as realistic as you desire. Have fun with it.